let me, is audio coming through now? I'm working a condenser mic. I think it's coming through now. Yeah. I heard myself. So yeah, there we go. Thanks guys. So I'm working on this code base because I'm looking into zonal resiliency at work. And so this code base is interesting to me because it advertises itself as a reliable web application. Now, looking at this code base, it's a .NET app. Hey, how's it going? Chintaka, how are you? Dawid, Citadel, what's up, guys? Thanks, Umakant, for pointing out my audio. Condenser mic. Condenser mic's got to run 48 volts, and every once in a while, my amplifier, like when I reboot my Mac, like the amplifier just like does not bring back the 48 volts. So I got to smash that little 48 volt button, and sometimes I forget. It's a little annoying, but anyways, hey, thank you guys for joining. Today we're looking at the reliable web app pattern code base here, and my goal for today is I've got a bunch of Bicep in here. I got a .NET app that's running, that's going to be running on Azure App Service. I don't want to run it on Azure App Service. I want to run it on AKS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to containerize this .NET app here. So we got a web app, we got a web API. I'm going to create some Docker files. I'm going to create an ACR, Azure Container Registry. I'm going to publish my Docker file. I'm going to build and publish Docker images out there. And then I'm going to build some Terraform, naturally. That's going to provision myself an AKS cluster and a few things. So if we look at the Bicep, this application has some internal dependencies. And it uses Redis it's a shopping cart app. So it's not like the most sexiest like application in the world, but I think it's good kind of meat and potatoes, .NET application. It uses server-side page rendering, so it's not a single page app. But it's got a shopping cart that uses Redis cache, which is hooked into ASP.NET MVC middleware that basically allows session state to save into the Redis cache. It uses SQL database as the backend. That's PAS SQL. I'm not exactly sure what it's using Azure Storage for. That could just be kind of, just kind of infrastructure supporting app service or something. And then it's got a front door front, kind of load balancer that sits on the front of it. I don't know if I'm going to get to the front door today. But I think like it would be wildly successful if I got this thing containerized and like published to AKS, and hopefully I can like fix all the configs so that it gets working. Oh, this is also using the Azure App Config service. So we'll be setting that up today in Terraform as well. So a lot of Bicep. So the reason why I picked this is, number one, this is an entry point for .NET developers into the Azure world, and we're the new Microsoft, right? So we should have options for people out there, and right now there's only one option. It's you're rocking Bicep and you're using this CLI called AZD. And when I stumbled across this, I was like, what the heck is AZD? As you know, like if you follow my channel like at all, you know that I'm a huge fan of Azure CLI. Not a big fan of PowerShell. So I kind of shun the PowerShell, but I love me some AZ CLI. And I saw this AZD thing, and I'm familiar with Azure CLI. Azure CLI's got plugins and things like that. It's got a plugin framework so you can use the Azure CLI for Azure DevOps, and you can even use the Azure CLI to SSH, into virtual machines in Azure using your Azure Active Directory credentials. And so I'm familiar with the plugin framework for Azure CLI. It does a lot of things, but like this AZD thing kind of threw me off. And apparently we have this at Microsoft, we have this CLI that's for developers, and it's the Azure Developer CLI. And basically this thing is like an opinionated way of deploying stuff. So, that you use the CLI, it looks at this magic file here. And then I'm giving you the general gist of this because like I'm very new to Azure Developer CLI. It looks at this magic YAML file here with its own proprietary YAML schema. And basically it's like, okay, if you got a .NET app, you tell it what language, you tell it what Azure service you want to host it on, and then it's just going to like make it happen, right? I am not a huge fan because I don't like like in the DevOps world and automation world, we already have like a crap load of tools, right? And when you're like trying to get some stuff done, when you're trying to get your work done, the last thing you need is like yet another tool that you got to go learn. So I understand why this was built. Like they're trying to make it super easy for people, but it's like yet another tool that you got to learn. So I'm not going to use this, and I'm going to drop into good old fashioned bash because I like to understand everything. I like to understand everything that's going on, in my code base, and I don't need additional layers of abstraction, to increase my toolitis, right? So there's already enough tools, right? So this thing, I'm just gonna chuck this to the fence, and I'm going to have to do some surgery on this folder here to add. Like I don't want the Bicep to go away. Like they can still have their Bicep, that's fine. But I'm going to add a new folder for Terraform, and we're gonna rock and roll. The .NET code really shouldn't change at all. Other than I'm probably gonna have to have a Docker file to roll this thing. So that's the plan. If that makes sense, if there's any questions, let me know as we go along here. But I'm gonna get working. I'm gonna talk to myself. I'm gonna talk to you, I guess. I talk to myself when I code anyway, so this is pretty natural. But I'll try and keep the self-flagellation to a minimum. But anyways, so first of all, I think I got this cloned over here. Let me go to my terminal. Oh my gosh, all these spammers. Okay. So where we are, git status. So we're on the main branch. If I'm ever gonna like submit a pull request and send this back to this team, I should probably set up a new feature branch. Add Terraform. We'll just call it that. And so let the surgery begin. So I'm kind of going to stomp on their rose garden a little bit. I'm just going to move all this Bicep stuff into its own little Bicep folder. That's probably going to break my Azure Developer CLI code, but oh well. And then we're going to have a folder for Terraform. Okay. So that kind of gets, so right off the bat, like we have kind of a fragmentation of the world here. So the idea is that like if you enter this, if you pull this code and you don't want to use Bicep and you want to use Terraform, I'm gonna have like all my Terraform stuff in its own nice little place that you can go have fun with. So that's the plan. Anyway, now I am changing the architecture a little bit, right? So we're not just rolling on Azure App Service. Like we have to have some shared infrastructure. Now, I suppose I could put that container registry like and just all jam it on one Terraform apply, but that's usually not the best way to roll. So I think I'm probably gonna create a folder just for my container registry, and I'm just gonna roll that thing into the cloud. So my boilerplate, I got I gotta set up my versions, and I gotta roll some Terraform required providers. Of course, we're gonna need this guy. And I don't know what the latest version is. 3 dot something. My favorite website. Boop, boop. 3 dot, oh my God, we're at 3.78 now. Jeez. It's hard to keep track. It's hard to keep track. Am I right? Like, geez. The world just keeps on spinning. And of course I need my provider block. And I've got to have that obligatory features, otherwise it'll get really pissed off at me. Oh my Lord. I love that. I love that feature there. Okay. So I've got that. Let's throw in some variables, variables. And I think the only variable, I usually do my standard application name. Environment name. Ooh. And you guys may have noticed that I've given up on the whole like eliminating double quotes. Like I used to do that. I was really OCD about it. But it's like, I don't know, man. Like it's technically valid HCL, but the formatter just wants to do what it wants to do. So who am I to judge, you know? So I need my main, and like in main, I guess I'm probably just going to throw like a resource group in there. Resource group. Call this buddy my main. Name, and I like the naming conventions. You guys know that. And if you guys see me do a bad thing, just call it out. Let me know. What's up, Rivers? I like rivers, but I like the ocean more. The ocean's kind of scary, but damn, it's damn is it beautiful. Okay, so I got that. Now let's go grab an ACR. You know, guys, I type a lot of this stuff out, but like, don't feel bad if you go read the freaking manual, RTFM. You know, I'm watching my language a little bit. But we all know what RTFM stands for, right? Nobody memorizes like all the crap that's in the provider, you know? So, you know, like go grab a sample and like make it your own. You know what I mean? Copy pasta is a thing. Like, but if you know what you're doing, right, and you copy pasta responsibly, that's a thing. Like we're developers. Like we copy pasta all the time. It's a little bit of a self-deprecating jag. Oh, hey Jerry. Oh yeah, my coworker, colleague Jerry. What's up, man? I forget what read. Oh yeah, I need some default. I need some defaults. What region do we like? I think I like West US 3. Let's throw this in West US 3. I don't think I need geo replications. Nope, don't need it. I don't think I need admin enabled either, because I think I'm just gonna roll. I'm gonna use like RBAC to grant access to this thing. So yeah. Now I do want to go set up like a service principal. Okay. So where am I? So I've declared my ACR. Ooh, I don't like that. It's redundant, right? We've only got one ACR. It's our main jam. So we're just gonna chill with like this ACR. It's gonna be our main guy, and you know it's the only one. Okay. So now what do I got to do? I guess I could apply this and we could just see what happens. You know. So I got to go to the right directory. Infratata. All right, so do I want to, do I not, I guess, do I want to do this with state, like with a state backend? I kind of feel like I should. I kind of feel like I should just build a pipeline and run this in GitHub Actions rather than run this locally. What do you guys think? Should I do this in GitHub Actions? I just set up local state though. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just set up some GitHub Actions. Okay, so they've got a little GitHub folder. Oh, excuse me. Oh yeah, I'm rocking some red tea today. Goddamn, I love red tea. I don't even know what it's called. I just call it red tea. It's amazing. And I think this is their little GitHub workflow. Yeah, GitHub Actions. See, look, they're doing all this AZD crap. You know, I don't like this. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Red tea, man. I drank red tea while I was in Beijing, like all the time. It was awesome. It's either red tea or beer when you're in China. Red tea or beer, and all Chinese beer tastes the same. It's always like perfect for Halloweens. What I don't get that. Why is it perfect for Halloweens? Anyways, so let's get our. I think I'll just use my like template. You guys don't need to watch me like code my own Terraform like pipeline template. So let's just throw this in there. We'll just call this Terraform plan.yaml. Okay, I'll explain what's going on here. Okay, so this is the name of our pipeline. This is the thing where you set up triggers, like what's going to cause this thing to run. Like it's like kind of on this thing happening, like you should do this workflow, right? Workflow dispatch is kind of a weird symbol, but basically it means when a person, like a human being, goes and like presses the button to do the thing. You can specify inputs. So this is kind of like in Azure DevOps, you know, you've got pipeline parameters. There's parameters and then there's variables. Like variables, these are the pipeline variables, you know, that I'm basically hard coding. And the inputs are like the parameters. So it's like when you want a human being to typey something in, or check a checkbox, or, you know, select a dropdown, you know, that's a parameter in Azure DevOps. It's called an input on a workflow dispatch in GitHub Actions. I don't make this stuff up. But that's how it works. And so I'm selecting the Terraform version. This is a pipeline variable. So I don't feel super bad about leaving it in the YAML file itself. It doesn't make a lot of sense to throw this out. Now, the environment thing, this is like a really fun thing. And I like this a lot. So this is kind of like there's an environment equivalent in Azure DevOps. So it's pretty much like that. But it's a little bit different, because whereas in Azure DevOps, an environment, you know, is kind of like a logical representation of where you're deploying to. It doesn't really coincide with configuration elements of that thing. Whereas in GitHub Actions, an environment literally has no idea where you're deploying to, right? You can use the environment as like a targeting context, as I call it, for like an environment, like a cloud environment that you're going to deploy to. But in GitHub Actions, the environment really is like what the configuration and secrets that you're going to use within, within this action. So this input and this environment tag is basically allowing myself or the end user on GitHub, when they manually trigger this action, they can then select which environment that they want to run Terraform plan and Terraform apply to, which is really convenient, right? And so basically, I'm going to configure my environment in such a way that the backend state and the application context and the environment context changes based on what environment that they select. So we'll set all that stuff up in GitHub Actions. So here, HashiCorp has this. There's no Terraform task in GitHub Actions, so don't even go looking for it. Which I like, as you know. I'm a big fan of Bash. Just drop in a good old-fashioned Bash. We don't need some abstraction layer on top of Bash, to make our lives better and, simplify. Actually, sometimes abstraction layers do the opposite. They just make crap even harder, right? So this is, I think, a good dose of pragmatism. This is just like, gonna do the work of installing, the Terraform executable where it needs to be in a GitHub Actions agent, however that works. And then here's my funness. I've got, and I've been thinking, I kind of cleaned this up a little bit, but the backend configuration, I'm using inline GitHub Actions variable references. I could pipe these in as environment variables if I wanted to make this Bash like highly portable, but I was just like, I don't know, it makes your environment variable block like really long, and then that gives me a headache. So then I have to go drink more red tea or drink some more whiskey to drown my sorrows away. But yeah, so I cleaned this up. I moved some of these inline. So the backend config is all happening inline here. So if you've seen my videos about setting up Azure DevOps or GitHub Actions pipelines, you'll know these usual suspects. This is how we triangulate to a state file in using the Azure backend. And so we need a resource group, that's landmark 1. We need the storage account, landmark 2, and then we need the container within that storage account, landmark 3. And then the last thing is we actually need the dang name of the state file, which is the key, right? And that all backends work the same way pretty much, depending on the backend provider that, I don't know, they're not called providers. Are they backend plug? I don't know what they're called. The Terraform backend, right? Depending on which one you use, you're going to have different landmarks that you got to track down how to get to a state file at the end of the day. An S3 bucket doesn't have as many landmarks. I think it's just like a bucket name. That's it. So it's a little bit simpler, but I guess the point is every backend is going to be different. So now I've got to go do some work, and I got to set some stuff up over in GitHub. So where's my thing? So this is my fork of this code base. And I forgot, like, I'm working on a feature branch. I also have to change this feature branch too. Otherwise my GitHub Actions aren't going to show up. So that'll be an important thing. So in GitHub Actions, you got secrets and variables. So I need to go set these things up. I need to go add my Azure credentials. I'll probably do this off camera, so you guys can't go like steal access to my subscription and do Bitcoin mining. Sorry. But the environments tab is where you can set up environments for basically segmentation of different logical containers of configuration. So that's a big jumble of words, but basically if I want to deploy this code multiple times, right, I create an environment for each time that I want to do it. So I'll just call this one live stream shared, and this will be the environment that my shared infrastructure for my Kubernetes cluster is going to use. So this is where ACR is going to be provisioned from. And so I need to kind of jam through this really quick. So I'm going to do some side by side here. Brother, no audio. Thangesh has no audio. Citadel, Daweed, Rivers, Jerry, Chintaka, you guys still have audio? Are we good? me check audio here. For real, no audio? Audio? I don't know. Abdul. My boy Abdul. What's up, man? Long time no see. I'm getting audio. I'm the only one. So Abdul can hear me. Thangesh, you might want to check. You might want to check your audio settings. Turn up the volume, man. It seems like it's a you problem, not a me problem. Sorry, man. Anyways, let me jam these variables into my GitHub. Oh God, I don't need this Explorer over here, do I? So let's just grab that. Add a variable. Foo. I don't even need. Oh, you know what? I always name my resource group the same name. So it'll be something like RG Terraform or RG Terraform State or something like that. Thank you, Chintaka. Chintaka confirming audio. Adding these variables. So I always make this like some random number thing. We'll figure that out later. The container name is always going to be the same. Oh my Lord. I worked that, didn't I? TF state. Of course, you can change these. This is just a convention that I use. And I'm gonna have to go to the portal and check where my state lives actually in the actuals. Ooh, do I still have Minecraft images out there? Weird. TF state in my dev sub. Yeah, see, here's my boy. ST state. It's very creative. And I legit just go to a website. Oh, did you guys all see my infrastructure got talent video? I cried. I literally cried. Every time that stupid kid in the lion suit sings and forgets the words, I just lose my shit, man. I'm like, my sides. It's so freaking hilarious. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I'm having too much fun here. It should be illegal. Okay, so ST state, we're gonna save that. And what now? Okay, I need my subscription ID. Again, I did a video on this recently because somebody was like, is my subscription ID a secret? Should I treat it like a secret? Nope, not a secret, not a secret. You cannot get into my house with my subscription ID. Now, what could you get into my house with? This thing right here. Yeah, don't give people that thing. Don't check that thing into code. That's a bad idea. That's a bad day. That's a bad day. And they don't make it easy finding the tenant, do they? So Entra ID, Microsoft Entra ID. I don't know, man. Here we go. There's my tenant ID. I'm gonna slam that on there. Boom. And I need a Terraform client ID. Terraform client ID. Bada bing, bada boom. Do I have an app registration already? So this is where I'm gonna have to like go behind the curtain a little bit. You can have my client ID. I don't care. Like have it, you know, I got lots of goods. I got lots of goods to give out, you know. But I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna go behind the curtain. So just bear with me. And portal.azure.com. I gotta log in with my like non-Microsoft creds here. And there it is. And multi-factor is a thing. I didn't even hit the multi-factor. So I need to create. Oh, and I have to go into GitHub. I'm definitely gonna hit a multi-factor going in. Oh no, geez. It's like opposite day, you know, when you're live demoing and like nothing is going wrong. I gotta go to my repos. I gotta go to my organization and go to my repos. And I got to add the client secret in there, but I gotta, so I'm gonna go to the app registration. I'll show you where I'm going, and I'm going to this page right here. Okay. And now I gotta go there on behind the curtain here. Yes. Clicky, clicky. Live stream? Yeah, live stream. Let's do that. That sounds fun. And then we go in here and we go to settings and we go to my environments, live stream shared. You know, actually, I could probably just use this same credential across everywhere. So I'm going to do that. It's not going to be in my environment. I'm going to use the same credential across everywhere. That'll just save a lot of time. So this is what? ARM, Terraform. What the heck is this thing called? Terraform ARM client secret. There we go. Okay. So now let me show you what I just did. And it's going to be in the global or repo level. There it is. Okay. You can't get it. Sorry. I guess that person is watching from the start. Oh yeah. They might be watching from the start of the video. Yeah. I had a little trouble with my audio at the beginning. Whoops. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, so I'm gonna pull the credential out of my environment config here because the environment is gonna share these across everywhere. So I apologize for that. I'm just gonna, I did this. Oh, it usually like prompts me. Now the state file, God damn it. I guess I could just leave all these because what's really going to change at the environment level? I'm going to use the same state. I apologize. I did a whoops. I did an oopsie. I put them at the environment level. So what am I going to actually have at the environment level? Well, I'm going to have the application name. Okay. And we'll call this live. I don't know. Live. Why is it so hard to come up with crap names? Live stream? Sure, live stream shared. This is the shared infrastructure for live stream, right? And then we got to give it an environment name. And we'll just call it dev, okay, just for giggles. And live stream shared is kind of long. Let's just call it LS. Yeah, LS. I could call it lives. That should be good enough. LS shared. Okay. So this is so I'm going to have an environment for my shared infrastructure for this live stream, which is going to have my ACR in it. Then I'm going to have an environment for the actual AKS cluster that I'm going to deploy crap into. That's what's going to happen. So at the repo level, this is where I'm actually going to put in these global variables. And again, I apologize profusely for being for doing an oops. And I need a repository. I don't want a repository. There's no more secrets. I need repository variables. So the backend resource group, what was it? I can't remember. Go to my resource groups here. RG Terraform state. Yeah, this is my guy. Okay. I should probably just make this guy over here. It might go faster since I'm doing this like twice. We need this thing. I forget what it's called. We'll go get the name of it from the code. I always use the same names just because it's like, you know, consistent. I like consistency. The container name, that I don't need to go look that up. I know that pretty well. So I got my backend variables. Now I need my I gotta go get this again. So the sub ID, where's the thing? Sub ID, that's pretty much everywhere. They just hand that out like candy. I need my tenant ID. It's not super easy to copy pasta from, oh, that's not, no. Wrong spot, my bad. New repository variable, tenant ID. Well, you get to see me do this twice today. Okay. Practice makes perfect. Am I right? Yes. And my client ID is an app registration that I specifically use for Terraform dev. Yep, this is the guy. Okay, there we go. Wunderbar. Okay, so I've got my stuff set up here, and so I have my credentials, and we got to make sure it ticks and ties with my pipeline here. So I got my ARM subscription, I got my ARM tenant, I got my Terraform ARM client ID, and I got my 3 backend variable things here. And then I have in my live stream shared environment, I've got my application name and my environment name. Okay. And that should be good. Okay. So now let me just smash this into production. No, Terraform. Very creative comment. Yes, I know. Don't judge. Don't judge. Okay. Now we don't see actions. Oh no. That's because I'm working on a fork and I'm not on the main branch because I eventually want to merge into their thing. I suppose I could work on the main branch, but that's just rude. So in order for my GitHub actions to actually show up, I need to change my default branch. So now that my branch is out there, should be, right? Branches, where is it? I pushed that branch, didn't I? What is this? ls git status. Where am I? Feature add Terraform. Yes, so there it should be out there. Code. Feature add Terraform. So I don't need a pull. I'm not going to create a pull request on my own thing. I'm not ready to create a pull request yet, but I know the feature branch is out there. So how do I do this again? Do I switch? Okay, switch. Yes, to another branch. Yes. This is what you got to do. So yes, I understand. Please update the default branch. Yeah, it's the bozo filter, and it should pull my GitHub action. Yes, there it is. You got to go wide stream here. So now look at this. Look at that. So remember that input in my YAML file, the type was set to be an environment. And because I created an environment called Livestream Shared, it's going to show up here. Now that means it's going to pull in the settings that are like scoped to the Livestream Shared environment, which is going to allow me to pinpoint a specific Terraform state file that I'm going to be using. And of course I am using the code that's in my my feature branch called add Terraform. So let's cross our fingers and run this and hope this works. So probably won't work the first time, but you never know. You never know. And while it's failing, let's go smash a new one for Terraform apply.yaml and Terraform destroy. Yes, I want to destroy things because I'm doing this in my own personal subscription and I do not have unlimited funds, and I tend to forget to delete the resource groups. So I kind of want to make sure I have an easy way to destroy. There we go. All right. Oh my God, it did not succeed. Shocker. Oh, yeah. No, yeah, my bad. So empty directory. I forgot a big thing. I need the working directory. How did I set that up? Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure like I set like Where is that? Set. Aha, yes. So that's a vars. Okay, remember that points to our variables. That actually I want to set in the environment itself. So let me go, and the reason why is I'm going to have different Terraform code for different environments. So I'm going to go add this here, and where the hell is that code? That code is right here. Copy relative path, and let's slam that in there. And I don't know, do I need a / in front of that? Can't remember. Let's trigger the workflow again, and we'll see how this goes. No, maybe I can rerun it. Let's give it a go. All right. Failed again. Shocker. Okay, failed for a different reason. That's usually a good thing. Oh yes, so we have this fun thing where my application name has a hyphen in it, and ACRs hate hyphens. I have no idea why, but they just don't like hyphens in their names. So what are you gonna do? You just kind of roll with them punches. So the way to solve this is just remove the. I'm not gonna take the hyphens out, of the actual environment name out in GitHub, because I like hyphens. It makes things easier to read. But I'm gonna go grab this, and I'm gonna add a little local variable. I'm just gonna say container. I need double quotes. Then I'm gonna, this IntelliSense is getting better. I used to have to look this crap up on the internet, but so I guess the substring that we're gonna be looking for is a hyphen, and then we're gonna replace it with a double, like just blank, right? So now I'm gonna grab the registry container name. I'm just gonna say local.dat. Oh my God, what happened? Okay, what happened there? Fix ACR name. Wunderbar. Okay, so that should make things happy now. Of course, I did make a code change. Oh, and I did a bad thing. I'm not even using remote state. So I gotta go to this. I gotta go to the versions, and I have to declare my backend. And it's just Azure RM. And of course, remember, never, ever put your backend configuration in code. Always inject that through your pipeline tool or whatever is doing your automation. Or if you're just running it locally, create like a little shell script that will inject that stuff for you so that it is not in your code base. I can't stand seeing backend configuration checked into source code. Why? It's not like that crap's secret per se, right? It's really just triangulating where your state file is, but it's like it radically reduces how reusable your root module is, right? Like it's tightly coupling it to a specific state file. I mean, if that's your jam, like go do that. But I tend to like root modules that are flexible enough that I could go stamp it out a few times with different, backends, so I don't feel the need to tightly couple to a particular backend. Remote state. Sorry, I should probably do this while I'm talking. And now I kind of feel like this is going to work this time. Oh, we got our plan and destroy too. So yeah. Did I add that working direct? Yeah, I did. But I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, I may need like the / prefix for that. We'll find out shortly if it's like pissed off. Actually, no, it did find the code, so I think I'm good. I'm good with that. There we go. Plan works. Okay, magical. Good God, guys! Like, there's a lot of work to create an ACR, right? But I'm taking time to kind of explain this stuff, right? So, there we go. All right, and I had to go create all these pipelines. I will eventually go create like a GitHub template and a module that'll provision like my standard pipelines for GitHub, and then it'll be like my Azure DevOps pipeline thing where you just like run Terraform apply, probably put in a pat token or something, and there you go. So my Terraform apply thing is pretty much the same, except I'm running auto approve. Now, because I rely on a manual trigger, like I'm assuming that with this auto approve here, you are running plan manually, looking at the plan, making sure you like the plan, and then running the apply with the auto approve in it. So, yeah. And the apply is done. Let's rerun it. You know, I like to do second time apply just to make sure like my backend state's all good. You know, kind of weird like that. Oh, I had a tab for the portal. Let's bring that sucker back in here. And let's go to our resource groups and look for the thing. Where is the thing? Oh yeah, here it is, ls shared dev. And there it is. That's our wonderful little thing. Okay. Now, we are going to get to the point where we're going to do some Docker. Okay. So the thing that I want to do with Docker is I want to actually do a Docker build using GitHub as well. And so what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to create a pipeline here that's going to run Docker. And I'm gonna have to run Docker for each of the different images. So I'm gonna have an image for my web app. I'm gonna have an image for my web API. And I'm just doing a time check. It's coming up on the hour. This is kind of taking longer than I expected. Docker build, and we'll just call this the web.yaml. Okay, and here we go. Let's slam that in there. You guys don't need to see me do this, okay? But I'll talk you through what's going on here, right? So again, we got our workflow dispatch. We got a different name. We're building the Docker image. We have the path to the Docker file. And now I need to create a folder for my Docker. So I'm just going to create, I guess, you know, I should probably put all this in like the .NET folder. So I need all my .NET to be in one place. And honestly, like, I don't even like how infra, you know, infra is source. Like, it should go in the source folder. Now, the reason why I have to have a separate folder for the Docker is because the way they've structured the solution here, in my Docker file, I'm gonna basically be building just one of these projects, but I need the models and I need the web API. So I think it's easier just to slam, just to copy the Docker file into the right spot. So let's go and do the web app thing. Okay. And where is the thing? So we're just gonna have a Docker file. And there we go. And I'm not going to make you watch me type this, but this is pretty standard stuff. We're basically going to copy the projects that we care about. So this is the web app. So we're going to grab the web app. We're going to grab the models, and we're going to .NET restore, .NET publish, and we're going to put an entry point for our .NET app. What is all this spam? Yeah, no, I don't care. Please leave me alone. And yeah, and so here's our entry point, which is this .NET DLL. which is the compiled version of our application. And we're all running .NET 6, and we're using some Microsoft .NET 6 image and all that jazz. I literally used freaking ChatGPT to create this Docker file. So if you don't like the Docker file, don't shoot the messenger. Okay, I didn't spend a whole lot of time. It's probably not optimized. If you have, any, tips for optimization, I'd love to hear it. If you don't like my Docker file, but just trying to get this thing working, right? So, what are we doing here? So I got my Docker file. I got my Docker pipeline. So here's the fun, right? So the first, I've got Terraform in my Docker, right? That's weird, right? But what am I doing? I'm actually going to run a Terraform apply, a refresh only, and I'm going to grab an output variable called registry endpoint. Now I need to make sure that that's available in my shared infrastructure code. So let's go over there. Yeah, I didn't set up the outputs yet. So outputs. So we need an output. It's going to be called this thing. The value is going to be something related to my ACR. I forget what it's called. ACR main dot, what the hell is it called? URL. Endpoint. I forget what it's called. Got to read the manual. Scroll all the way to the bottom. Where is it? No. Login server? Yeah, it's got to be login server. Okay, login server. That's what it is. Again, login server. Each resource is a little bit different. I don't like the name login server. I think that's dorky. I like the idea of an endpoint, so I call it my registry endpoint. That's just me, but I'm using the login server there. Okay. So I'm running Terraform output raw. I'm saving that into here. Important, very, very important before you kill yourself. You need to, there's this attribute on this HashiCorp setup Terraform, like GitHub action. You need to turn the Terraform wrapper off. If you don't turn the Terraform wrapper off, you will waste hours of time trying to figure out why the crap this environment variable never gets set and why it's got gobbledygook on the end of it. I honestly don't know what's going on there, but you have, I think it's like GitHub for safety reasons or something, like is wrapping, the Terraform CLI. And so the outputs of the Terraform CLI, it tries to, parse in a different way, but you need to turn off that wrapper in order to get this to work. And this is what's going to be the glue between the Terraform run, which we're actually not going to do anything here. Like, this is not provisioning. This is just getting the outputs, right? And we want the output from that apply so that we can pass that dynamically, the registry, the Azure container registry, to Docker, right? And so what's going to happen later on down here is, okay, I'm generating a version. We've seen this. I've used the same code with generating versions for my Packer images and all that stuff, right? I'm going to set up I'm going to set up Docker. Then I'm going to log in to my Azure container registry using the Docker login action. I'm using that registry endpoint that's from my former step, right? And then I'm just going to push my image, and I'm going to give it a tag name, which is, I got to hit the registry endpoint, my Docker image name, and then my version, right? Which will be the tag. So this will be the repository. So you got your ACR URL, whack your ACR, the repository for the image, and then colon the tag for the Docker image, which is going to be, some magic string of my own, like, creative writing exercise, like right here, that I just generate the date, and then I use the GitHub run number to keep it unique. So I can do a whole bunch of these in one day and, like, not have to worry about it. So there we go. So that's gonna build my pipeline. Now I need to make sure I have all the things. Like I got my Docker file, I got my Docker image, I got all that stuff. So I should be pretty good. And I moved some things around. I moved the source code around. Let's check this. Did I type something there, didn't I? Let's check the source. Okay, so I got source.net, I got source Docker, web app, Docker file. So I guess probably didn't need to specify that, but where am I referencing that? So here, this is also important. So Docker also, is working directory based. It looks for a special file called Docker file in whatever directory you're working out of. So, and then the Docker file's contents is relative to whatever that directory is. So I wrote this Docker file in such a way that the Docker file is assuming that it's where it should be, which it should be in the root.net folder. But I can't have two Docker files in the same folder, as far as I know. Because Docker uses this special convention of Docker file. You can't have two files with the same name. And I am unaware of any Docker parameters that let you explicitly specify where a different Docker file name. So what I'm doing is in my pipeline, I am copying, and this is not great. This is not great from a local dev experience. Like if you were to spin this up yourself, you're going to have to copy that dang Docker file to the right directory. So what I probably would do is I probably would restructure this .NET directory structure so that I didn't have, issues. Like I could have a Docker file in this web API folder, and I'd have a Docker file in this web folder. And then I wouldn't have to deal with all this crap. But I don't want to break too much of this .NET code, so I'm I'm trying to use a scalpel here. I've already messed up their world by introducing a .NET folder and moving Bicep, creating a Bicep folder and moving crap around. So I'm trying to limit how much I move around. So that's kind of the method to my madness. But yeah, this is janky. I don't like this. Just full disclosure. So anyways. But this should work in my pipeline here. So now it's because I move things around and all that stuff. So let's check this in. So Docker build, and now I should have some new fun things over here in my GitHub Actions. I should have my little Docker web app. Okay, wunderbar. And again, I'm selecting the environment. And why would I select the environment? Well, basically, when you're building a Docker image, what I'm thinking about here is as I'm building this Docker image, I need to select the ACR that I wanted to publish the Docker image to, right? So this environment happens to be an environment that has an ACR in it, and it's going to output a registry endpoint or the login server for the ACR, so it should work. Now, this won't work, and I'll tell you why. The identity that is going to be used when we log in is I think it's going to be the Terraform ID, right? So where is that? Yeah. The registry username and the registry password, right? Well, first of all, I didn't set these up, and I kind of need to, right? So we need to all agree on who is going to be allowed to push Docker images to our Docker registries. So I could just go ahead. Let's go look. It's probably just it can't log in. Oh, actually, it failed because I need to run apply again to just generate that output the first time. So let me. Where's my thing? Just go back to Terraform apply and run the workflow. There we go. And while it's doing that, I'm gonna go to Azure Active Directory. I'm gonna set up a user. So in Azure Active Directory, I've got these identities set up for specific roles and responsibilities. My Terraform is a highly privileged user, right? Because it has to do a lot of things. So I don't really want to have the same identity do this as well. So I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to call it docker-dev. And this is going to be an identity that I'm going to grant access to create Docker images into my ACR. So I got my client ID, and I need to go to my settings, and I'm going to create a new variable, and I forget what it's called. I think it's just the Azure registry username. Yep. And then I need to go magic. I'm going behind the curtain again. So bear with me. Refresh. Docker dev. And I'm going to create a client secret for this guy. I'm going to put that client secret into a environment, a repository level secret that is going to be for what is the name of that thing? The Azure registry password. There we go. Okay. So that should do it. Let's go back here. I'm back from behind the curtain. We ran apply. So let's go see this actually fail for the right reason. So I want it to see, yeah, nothing changed in so we can rerun this. So we're gonna pull that output from state. Abdul, my man, Docker build has a file flag. I should do that. That'll be nice. No changes. There's my ACR registry endpoint, and we kind of echo it to the output as well, just for checking. And now we're going to set up Docker, and we're going to log into the registry. And you can see I'm hitting the ACR. This is my ACR, but it just does not like my authentication. So authentication is required. So what I actually need to do is I need to grant this identity access to my ACR. And so I could do that by portal jockeying it into production, by going to my ACR and then going to access control and then creating a role assignment, right? And what do I want? I want ACR push. I could do that, but this is the Azure Terraformer, so we're not going to do that. Come on, guys. Did I fool you? Did you think I was going to do this from the portal? If you did, I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. No, we are definitely not going to do that from the portal. We are going to go create a role assignment, and hopefully the ARM control plane is going to be my friend today. Role assignments are fun. I like role assignments. So we need a role assignment. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, and we are just going to add that right there. Okay, and what should we call this? I guess it's going to be ACR push, so we could just call it ACR push. And the scope, I guess we should apply the principle of least privilege here, right? So I'm just going to throw this on here, and we're going to scope it to that particular this particular ACR. And we got that. And now where do I get my principal ID from? Well, I mean, I could just hard code that in there. But I think maybe I'll just add a variable. And you know what? It might be nice, if I want to have multiple, maybe I want more than one person to do this. Container registry pushers. Yeah. Type list. Okay. I guess it should be a list of string. We should be kind of specific, right? And then I'll just, I have lots of GUIDs to give. I'm happy giving out GUIDs. So we can just go and like find the GUID for this guy. Oh, why do I keep doing that? When I want to go to my tenant, I keep hitting the subscription. It's very confusing. So here's my Docker identity, and we'll just throw that guy in there. Okay. And notice I did take the application ID. It may be the object ID. Oh God, what is it? Is it the object ID or is it the application ID? Does anybody know? Alam says he's going to have to watch this from the beginning since I forgot what was happening. Alam, just to catch up, we are containerizing a .NET app. It was originally written in Bicep, and we are rewriting the Bicep in Terraform. We're going to Dockerize the .NET app and push the images of our .NET app and provision an AKS cluster and push that stuff using kubectl. So that's where we're at. I'm trying to see how far I can get. So far, we're about to push images, but I'm setting up the permissions to grant this identity access to do this. I just cannot remember if it is the object ID or if it's the application ID. And, I'm going to go behind the curtain real quick just to make sure that I don't do a bad thing. Because if you put in the wrong one, you will be sitting here for a long time because role assignments get really pissed off because they don't really validate them. I suppose I could use Azure, like the Azure AD provider, to look this thing up. That would be probably the safest way, but I don't know if I need to go, set up a whole new provider just for that. So I'm just going to go check real quick. Guess it would be in variables. Azure registry username. Okay. Got to go to Edge. Hit my Entra ID. I'm behind the curtain, guys. I apologize. Bear with me here. I'm pretty confident it is going to be the application ID. So I think we're good here. Application ID alpha 895. Alpha 895. Okay. And I'm pumping in this list. And so I need to make this a list. I'm going to use count here. I don't really think it matters because role assignments are what I would consider relatively transient resources, meaning I can provision them really fast. So even if there's a little bit of churn of getting I add items to the list, I change the order, they get deleted, they get recreated. I'm not too concerned about that. So now I need to just grab the index of that principal ID from there. And we should be good to go. Okay, so let me push this and we'll grant our identity access. Add ACR push. My comments are as the commits are getting more narrowly focused, my comments are getting a little bit better. When I first my first commits are always initial commit or Terraform or stuff, and You know, because it's like, how do you only have like 260 characters. It's like a Twitter post here. It's like you only have like very short amount of space there. So if you're checking in like 800 files, you know, it's like, what the hell do you put in there? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, so let's go look at this. I think I need to go check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I set up the environment, like the variables for this guy, the secrets. So I got my Azure registry password. This is the client secret for the service principal I created. That's going for the identity that's going to be pushing Docker images. And then I have my Azure registry username, which is that like application guy. And I'm running Terraform right now to grant him access. Did I run it? I don't think I ran it. This was a long time ago, right? Yeah. Let me run plan. Let me run plan. I'll be a good little boy and run plan. We'll interrogate our plan and make sure it's doing what we think it's going to do. Otherwise, I could just shotgun this thing into apply auto approve. Here we go. GitHub Actions kind of annoys me. Sometimes this doesn't populate. Like I think it, if there's no output, like after it kind of triggers when there's like output there. Okay, so we're adding ACR push to our little principal ID. I'm happy with this plan. That's all that we're doing. You know, this is a great plan. It's one wonderful plan. It's a beautiful plan. The beautifulest plan. And we're going to run this again. This is going to grant that identity access to push images, which should allow our Docker pipeline to now do that. Guys, once this is done, we're going to have a Docker image out there in our ACR, and we can get to business on the AKS cluster, which is going to be fantastic because that's where this gets really fun. So while that's doing that, let's go build out the AKS cluster and kind of set some things up, because I'm going to have to set up a new environment. So what should I call this? I'll just call this like the infra, and I can just copy these things and probably main as well. Let's just copy all this stuff, copy pasta. So again, I'm using my consistent naming conventions, application name, environment name. I don't have an ACR, but I probably will output something eventually. We don't have container registry pushers. We might need something else though. I'm not quite sure yet. This should be all the same, like backend, same. Okay, then that's it. That's it. I mean, like there we go. Like I have a new environment where I can put my AKS cluster in, right? So there we go. So what now? Let me just roll this out. Add AKS infra. And you know, I like whenever I set up a new Terraform workspace, I like to like provision it with the resource group as kind of like the placeholder. It gives me a warm feeling inside. Like, okay, everything's all connected. It's in its own little state file. Everything's happy, and like we can go on with life. And it's a wonderful thing. So I should probably open this in a new tab so we can look at it side by side so you can see what I'm doing here. Bada bing. There we go. And I'm basically going to just create a new environment. I'm going to call it live stream infra. And this is going to be where we have our, what do we call it? Our AKS cluster, right? LS infra. Oh my God. Ionfra. Probably a cooler name, actually. And it's also going to be dev. Dekev. And we are going to use an absolutely different working directory. This is where, copy pasta. This is where, you know, the magic comes, right? Like we have to use a different folder with different Terraform code in it describing a totally different environment, which is why we have a different application name, right? Environment name to kind of uniquely identify this stuff, right? And so now if I go, now that I have this environment set up, if I go to my GitHub Actions, and I can get rid of this now, make this bigger. I can go run plan, and I can use that same GitHub action to target run plan against a different environment. Principal ID should be object ID. Really? Abdul thinks it should be the object ID. Well, if it's the object ID, we're going to be sitting here a long time. Dang it, I thought I checked that. Arrgh. So the plan, this should be a very innocuous plan. We just need a resource group, right? Where is it? See, look at this. GitHub Actions, like fail. Like, hello. I know there's something in there, but it won't. I think I have to just smash refresh here. It's annoying. It annoys me. There we go. Resource group. Wonderful. RGLS infra dev. Okay, so we're going to have our own little infra in our own little playground so we can do the things. Okay, so I'm going to run apply on my infra, and then we can go figure out what the crap is going on with this thing over here. Does it really have to be the object ID? I'm going to be so mad if it's the object ID. Oh my God, I think you're right. I think you're right, Abdul. Oh, grumble. The principal ID needs to be the object ID. Freaking annoying, man. So this, like, we can't see what's happening here, but I know what's happening here because I bumped into this a few times. The role assignment resource is like trying to create a role assignment for that application ID, and it's never going to work. It's going to eventually time out. So I'm just going to cancel this, and I'm going to beg the Terraform gods forgiveness by going, once that cancels, you know, but I need to go grab the object ID. Thank you, Abdul. I wish I was paying more attention to chat. You would have saved me a few minutes there, man. It's freaking annoying. Yet another GUID. So let's go smash this into the GUID spot. There we go. So 8 alpha 4. 8 alpha 4. Yes. Okay. Must be object IDs. You know, I should probably put that in the documentation somewhere. You know, this is like where the description comes in handy, right? Must be object IDs. You dolt. There you go. For my future self, so I don't make this mistake again. I need to do a video on like the application ID and the object ID, because that's one of those areas in the Azure RM provider that there is a lot of inconsistency. Like sometimes it takes an application ID, sometimes it takes an object ID. It's not always super clear which one it is either. So it's pretty freaking annoying, actually. But thank you, Abdul. I appreciate that, man. Okay, so let's go check on GitHub, see if it's canceled that thing for me. What did I do? Is this the one that I canceled? Must be. So I need to go break the lease. This is a break glass moment, right? So I think this is it. So I gotta go to my TF state. And I gotta go to my container. I gotta find my little environment. And it's my ls, shared dev. It's leased. So I gotta break that lease. And I gotta rerun. So let's rerun the plan with my shared infra. There we go. And I found, like, if you open up this thing, then there's a better chance that you're gonna actually get the output. But like, if you come into this cold after it's been running for a while, you're not gonna get the output, and it's gonna be a pain in the rear. So initialized. Where's my role assignment? Give me my role assignment so I can move on with my life. Okay, great. Is that the right ID? 8 Alpha 4. Okay, wunderbar. Ja, das stimmt. Moving on. Shared. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So this should be, I'm going to open this up so I can see what's happening, because it really irritates me that it doesn't do that. So anyways, what should we do here? Well, we're going to need a network for our Kubernetes cluster. We're going to need we're going to need a cluster. We're going to need lots of things. It's going to be crazy. So I'm kind of like, so here's this mission critical online thing. Now, mission critical online is another Microsoft official guidance from a different team called Well Architected Framework. These guys are more about helping people build, the right things on Azure, whereas this reliable web app is from, I think, DevDiv, and they're more about like, how do we help .NET developers be productive on Azure? So that it's kind of like same charter, targeting different audiences. So they're like slightly coming at it from different angles, but they're trying to achieve the same thing. This version is on Azure App Service. This thing is on AKS, and it's written in Terraform. So I was thinking I would just go in here and look at the Terraform code that they got. We got this release unit. So it's structured a little bit differently than I would normally do it, but that's fine, like whatever. And they got a lot of goodies in here. They got Event Hub, they got Key Vault, they got Kubernetes, so we got our little cluster here, so they're setting up this cluster the right way. So I feel like I should just like stick to what they do, but I don't know if I need all this stuff. Like this seems like a lot of stuff. So I don't know, like maybe I should kind of squint and kind of cherry pick things that I want from this. But it looks like they got a default node pool. Do they have other node pools? Oh my Lord, what is happening? Node pool. So yeah, so they want a system node, pool, and then they want just a workload node pool. Okay. I can do that. Now, the order of operations here is kind of important. Like, this is dependent on a subnet. So I should probably blow out like my subnet, my VNet and my subnet first. I'm looking at chat here. I'm sorry. Is there a chance to have a live stream of some TF modules creating like storage, private endpoint, something reusable? Yeah, that's a good idea. Like, yeah, I can do that. Maybe next week. And maybe once I like structure this, maybe I'll modularize the code that I'm writing and then talk through that process. But yeah, so for starters, I kind of want to just get like a virtual network going. So let me grab a VNet. So I'm in here. Let's go add a network.tf. What? It's not even on the clipboard here. There we go. Now I do need a CIDR block, so let's throw a CIDR block on there. So let's throw what value should I have here? So 10.37.0.0/22 should give us like 1,024 IP addresses. That should be fine. And then let's go throw some subnets. Subnet. Throw some subnets on here. Okay, bless their heart. You know, they got like all this crap in here. I don't know if I need all this stuff, you know? So I want to hit my main network. I want to hit my main resource group. I want to call this SNet. Let's call this Kubernetes. And what should we do here? So this is a little trick that I've been starting to use. I don't know if you get, like, Abdul, I'd like your opinion on this, Abdul, if you do this. I used to kind of string concat my CIDR block, like my sub-CIDR blocks. But I've started kind of playing around with the CIDR subnet function. And basically you pass this thing in like an address space, and then you give it a number of bits, and then you give it like the index of, you know, the of of which slice that you want to take. So the bits is kind of like slicing this address space, and then you tell it which slice that you want. So with a CIDR block of WAC 22, 2 bits is going to split that into 4 parts. And so getting the 3rd index, that would give me the 4th part of this thing. So this should give me what would it, oh God, what would it be? So I did 10.37.0.0. So this would give me 10.37.3.0, I think, /24. If my math is correct, we'll find out. So let's add this network. Add Kate's net. This is going to give us a little subnet. Wunderbar. Let's go back. Let's check on our friend. Are we still having problems? We're still having problems with that role assignment. It's like pissed off. Why? What happened here? I can't. Oh, here it is. Principles of type application cannot validly be used in role assignments. Is that? No. What? Skip service principal check. Oh. This can't possibly be. This can't possibly be. Do I need like the object ID of the parent entity? You know, like the managed application. Yeah. Oh God, this is so nutty. This is so nutty. So check this out, guys. So what it actually wants for my app registration. So I'm trying to get this Docker guy here. I can't. So I tried application ID. It just stalled. Okay. Now I tried object ID, and it said talk to the hand. You know, can't do it. But what I actually need is I actually need this thing over here. I need the parent object of this thing, and I need its object ID. And this is under this is the enterprise application, right? And I need this thing. That's what I need, not the app registration. Ah, crap! So annoying. Again, like the amount of GUIDs and I think I need to like deep dive into the Azure Active Directory application hierarchy and, like, you know, kind of plot some prescriptive guidance around this because it is very tricky. So update to enterprise app ID for the role assignment. And maybe this becomes a lot easier if we just use like the Azure AD like provider, and we don't like hard code GUIDs in here. Like we just look it up with the name. That might make our lives easier, but I don't know. That's for another day. So let's try this again. Okay, I know what apply is gonna do. Like nothing's changed. So I'm gonna rerun apply with the updated object ID. And we're gonna see if this works now. Third time's a charm, right? We tried with the app registration application ID, fail. We tried with the app registration object ID, fail. And it's like brain fart. You got to use the object ID of the enterprise application. There you go. Oops. I'm not exactly sure why. If anybody does know, let me know. I would love to know why. It seems odd. Did I not get it in time? Okay, it did get added. Wonderful. So now if I go to my little ACR, I should see a role assignment with my little Docker buddy. Docker buddy, where are you? Are you there? You complete me. There he is, my buddy. Docker dev ACR push. All right, guys, let's start pushing some images. Let's do this. So where's my Docker web app? So this guy was failing, and we need to use the shared infra because that's where our ACR, where we want to push the Docker image. So let's jam. And I don't think I need to change anything because the oddity here is the app registration's application ID is sufficient to authenticate against the Azure Container Registry's login server, endpoint, whatever. But to grant the ACR push role assignment, I need to use the object ID of the enterprise application of the same app registration. It's kind of bonkers. So here's our Docker build happening, fun, extracting some images, copy, .NET restore, getting all those delicious NuGet packages. Oh, it failed. What happened here? It failed on what did it fail on? Copy the rest of the files to build the web application. Did I not do that? Did I put it in the wrong folder? Let me check here. Let me check my pipeline, my Docker build pipeline. I mean, we're authenticating now, right? That's working. So I've configured this thing to use the source.net folder. We've got, what is all this? I don't know what that is. So so I'm trying to build this thing right here, right? So I've got this thing, Docker working directory. This is going to be the image name, the web app, Docker file. So it's under source Docker web-app Docker file. What are we doing? We're getting all this is working. This is just like the ACR, like let's go get I can't collapse that. I've got weird VS Code settings that hide all the crap on the side. This is happening. And so really it's happening in this build push action, and it's happening. So the working directory is going to be, what is the working directory going to be? So we're copying the Docker file to the Docker working directory. And the Docker file is here. And we're pushing it to the source.net working directory. This should work. I'm not exactly sure why it doesn't work. Docker, web app, Docker file. Terraform should have its own working directory. Do I have? Yeah, the Docker working directory is correct. Let me see here. I'm gonna have to diagnose this like error message hardcore here. So we're just pulling images here, and these are different layers of the image. We are copying the web app, and we're copying the web app models. .NET restore. Could not be loaded. Compatible version of the .NET SDK not found. So am I using the wrong version of the .NET SDK here? I mean, that should be in the Docker file itself. What is causing us to use version 7 of the .NET SDK? What version? What version are we looking for here? Let me see. Oh God. Let me see if this is in the source code somewhere. Bugger. Look at that. Some obscure global.json file is like borking our world. Like, what the heck is that doing there? Okay. Like, I don't even know why. It's supposed to be 6. So somebody checked in as a 7, even though like the projects are all 7, you know? I'm sorry, the projects are 6. Like, look at this, look at this. Like, if you go into the CS proj file, where the hell is that? There it is. .NET 6, man. So why did some Yahoo check in a global.json file? I swear to God, it wasn't me. I don't know, like, who did that? Where is it? Yeah, this is the original code. So where is it? Source. God, if I check that in, okay, here it is. Aha! See, I didn't do it. So somebody put .NET 7 in there when it's clearly .NET 6. Now maybe this is because of the way Docker like is pulling an image and it does not have .NET 7. Maybe this person that checked that file in just happens to have .NET 6 and 7. I don't know, man. Like, but like it should. Docker is like, when Docker runs the .NET command, .NET is paying attention to this global.json file. I don't even know if I need this file, but I'm just going to update it to the version 6 of .NET. I'm going to move on with life because I don't feel like, again, I don't want to fix their code. I just want to like get this thing running in a container. So as little changes to the code and structure, the better, in my book. Okay, and with a little luck, We might have a Docker image after this. Like, for crying out loud. You're killing me, guys. Absolutely killing me. Okay, so should I watch this? I'm very scared if I like look away, it won't work. Let's watch the paint dry. I think we're good. Yeah, there we go. Boom. Oh no, it's it's still doing the thing. It's still doing the thing. The post build and publish is what we're waiting for. So the error would have happened right about. We're still restoring packages. Restore them packages, man. Come on. There we go. Done. Okay, that's where it would have failed. Publish. There you go. And we got some DLLs, so we're copy pasta. And we're app out, and there we go. Exporting layers. We got an image, everybody. Yay, we have an image. We have an image. Let's go check our ACR for some repos. Bada bing, bada boom. There it is. We got our freaking image. It's got a beautiful tag. I love that tag. Got a date and a unique version with a build run number. It's in October 2023. Build 3 on GitHub. Nobody cares. It's a random number. Who cares? Now let's get back to AKS land and let's get this thing deployed out into the world. What? I need my infra code here. So it's beautiful. Like, we got our ACR, we got our Docker image, all using GitHub pipelines. I haven't run any of this crap locally. It's all been run through GitHub Actions. You guys can go look at my GitHub Actions running. Like, go watch the paint dry on my pipelines. If you want, have fun. Anyways, I'm building a network here, and we're going to roll an AKS cluster now. So let's see here. What do I need? What do I need now? So I think I just need a cluster. So let's go. I probably should have, I'm thinking through like the managed identity strategy that I'm thinking about. So if we go Kubernetes, no, container, I think they just call it container cluster. Where is my friend? Oh, it is Kubernetes cluster. There it is. But it's under the container group, which is like confusing as all heck. Okay. So I'm going to grab this thing and we're going to go drop our cluster, Kubernetes, and we'll just throw that cluster in there. Now, I hate this, as I'm sure you're well aware. We're gonna gut this sample and we're gonna make it our own a little bit. I'm gonna grab the name, gonna throw this on here. Gotta hit my main region, gotta hit the resource group, the DNS prefix. I'll just make it use the application name as well. Now the default node pool, I think I'm probably going to change this up a little bit. So we'll call this system pool node count. I think instead of using a fixed node count, I just want to do like enable auto scaling, set to true. Ooh, what happened here? And then with that, I need to set a min count. Let's set up 2, max count 3, and the VM size, that should always be an input. So var, I'm AKS system pool. I'm going to create an object an object input parameter. So I'm going to say, so I do not like object input parameters, okay? But if the object is relatively small with a big O notation of no bigger than 1, you know, I'm cool with objects, you know? They just can't be too insane, you know? If they get too insane, it gives me a headache. And then I gotta go fill the void with some bourbon, and it's not a good thing. So keep those objects relatively small for me, please. Otherwise, I'm gonna end up in a gutter someday. You know, just looking at all of these dang insane objects, and I might as well just add like a min count, 2, max count, 3. How about that? There we go. That's fun. We can do that. And then I can set these. Oh my God, what happened there? AKS system pool, min count, and we'll do this as well. It'll be a wonderful old time. Oh my God, where did that come from? There we go. So that's fun. And then I need to put this in a subnet. And I've already got a subnet, Azure RM subnet. It's called the Kubernetes subnet. So we just throw an ID on that. I heard some beeping. I don't know what that's about. I might be, I don't know. With my restream, I might have to keep this to 2 hours. So we're coming up on an hour and a half. So, you know, I'm going to keep going. But this might end unceremoniously unless I take care of it. So, but I want to get this cluster done. So let's get this cluster done, and let's see if I can throw some out there. So I'm just going to take like some standard config for my system, my default node pool. I'm just going to throw it on there, and we don't need to type all this stuff out. There we go. So I got my node pool. I want to have an identity, so I'm going to throw an identity on here. I don't like system assigned identities. I hate the tags that they use. So I'm also going to create a cluster identity. So at the top here, let's go create the identity for my cluster. And then I'm going to create an identity for my kubelet. So there we go. And that should give me what I need. And then I think I do need, so I need to set the kubelet identity block as well. So we'll throw that down there. And then I probably need, I'm gonna need key vault. So I'll put this here, but we're gonna add key vault later. Now, in order to grant my cluster the ability to pull images, I also need to have a role assignment to grant access to the ACR. So here's my cluster kubelet identity, the principal ID. I'm doing the ACR pull, and I need to go grab my container registry here. So if I go grab the container registry, I'll just throw this into a different TF file. And I'm basically going to go grab this. I don't even know if this is going to be the same anymore. You know, I should probably just put in the container registry name, and then I'll make it an object. How about that? So we'll have a name and we'll have a resource group, and we won't build this stuff. Leave it to chance. Resource group name. There we go. So I need a new variable for my container registry. Type equals object, and it has a name, which is a string. Then it has a resource group name, which is also a string. So I'll throw this into my TFRs file, and I know what these values are, right? So there's no guessing. Like this is the guy. So the name is that. Of course, I probably should put that in quotes. And then the resource group is whatever this is, right? There we go. Okay. So I'm wiring up my container registry using this object right here. So this is my container registry, and I'm granting my cluster pull access to go get images from that thing. Yeah. Now I do want to have another pool, a node pool for workload. So I'm going to throw down Mac copy pasta, you know. I'm going to throw down a node pool down here, and it's going to be very similar. I do need some variables here, so I'll do some housekeeping. So we'll throw this in. This is just the AKS variable for AKS orchestration version. It's going to be string. And then I'm going to throw this into my var file. Ah, geez. And I think the latest version that we have is 1.26.6. There we go. And then I'm just gonna use like the same object structure for my workload pool, so I can very easily kind of add another one of these. But I need like a min count, max count. There we go. And I need to throw, and I'm not even following my own conventions here, which is kind of could bite me in the end. But let's throw this on here. I think that's right. So I got the AKS system pool, and I need AKS worker pool. Oh, workload pool, my bad. So I got a workload pool and I got a system pool. There we go. What else do I need? I think these are all, oh, these are gonna be broken. I'll just fix this. I can't stand it. Like when it's, you know, when it's the wrong thing. So max node count, that is probably a better name for that input variable. Min node count, just fix this. Okay. VM size, I've already got that. We're attaching it to the cluster. We get the orchestration version on. We're making it zonal. Like we're having a great old time. Okay. We're granting our kubelet access to to pull images. Okay. And what else? What else do we need? I think we do need to grant the cluster identity access. So because we're using kubelet identity, it's going to have to, you know, manage the kubelet identity. So we need to give the cluster that permission to do that. And I think that should be good. I got some spam here. So let's check this in, add AKS cluster and identity. Probably gonna have to add key vault here too. So let's go run a plan. It might just blow chow. I mean, it might just explode. One of the downsides of not setting things up locally, you know, gotta say. So let's see if we can get this going. I'll review things on my end, see if we're happy. some definitely housekeeping items that I'm going to need to put into place is going to be I'm going to need Log Analytics Workspace. I'm going to need Key Vault. I'm going to need all those things. So, but the plan failed. Yeah, there's probably some baddies in here. Let's see here. Did I not even name my cluster properly? Where is it? Oh my god, I left a freaking example in there. Wow, that's awesome. The example, touche. And I'm just gonna clean this up. Let's make sure I have all the things. Okay. OpenID Connect, workload identity enabled, standard SKU tier. I hate the way that they by default name node resource groups. So I'm going to make that, using the cluster, the resource group name with a cluster on the end of it. This is kind of like my standard setup for AKS. So let me know what you think. Would love to know what you think. Anyways, this should be healthier now. AKS fixes. I'm very, very specific in my in my comments here. Run workflow. This is my infra. And there we go. So one thing I'm gonna need if I'm gonna do some kubectl is I'm gonna need the file that comes out of this. So I'm gonna have to set this thing up locally. I'm gonna have to get local state going here. So I'm going to set up a .debug.sh, and this is gonna run basically what my GitHub action does, but it's gonna allow me to snag all the magic that's happening when Terraform apply runs, because I'm gonna have to output the stuff, right? So I need to export. I'm gonna AZ login, right? So I'm not gonna have to go behind the curtain or anything like this. Like, what the heck, man? Can I not like highlight something? Like what? Double click. Thank you. Freaking Linux. Backend resource group name, that should be RG Terraform. Export. Backend storage account name, that's going to be ST something. We'll go figure that out in a second. Why? Clicky click. Export this thing, and this is just going to be TF state. And then rather than use the GitHub, this is like the whole portability thing, right? It makes for cleaner YAML, but damn, like if you want to copy pasta to just regular old bash, then you have to do a little bit of massaging, which is no fun. So I don't know. I might just like move this back because it's kind of annoying. And this is going to be my TFR for my application name, because that's no longer going to be coming in from GitHub Actions. So I kind of have to set this up. So all this stuff has to tick and tie. So it's going to be really important that I get the right things set up here. Otherwise, it's when I do Terraform init, it's not going to work. And just for safety's sake, I think I'm going to change this to like a star. So that I can pass in whatever commands that I want. Yeah. So I need to set these values proper. So they're all the same values on GitHub, like in the settings on GitHub. So I can just go snag them out of there. Environment variables. So let's just, can we do this side by side? Is that easier? So ls shared, I don't want ls shared, I actually want ls infra. And then dev, that's easy. And then where's my Terraform state? There's the guy. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now I'm gonna have to AZ login here. So AZ login, and we're gonna log in with my personal, hey, there we go, that was fast. That was easy. I need to make sure I'm in the right sub, so I'm gonna go AZ account set. I highly recommend you just memorize these commands. These commands you just use all the time. You always, when you're working with multiple subscriptions, AZ account set. Do I need two dashes? Just talking about memorizing these things. Really? Did I grab the tenant ID? Oh my God, what the hell? My bad. I grabbed the tenant ID. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so now I'm working in the right sub. Let's go infra, what am I gonna do? Sudo change mod plus X to make it executable, debug.sh. This just, it's like saves you from having to type this out like over and over and over again. So like you don't want to do that. Okay, and so now I can just go debug.sh and it's going, and then I have to pass it in an operation. Of course I bork it. There we go. So let's see if the backend initializes. Looks like we got some problems. Oh, it's RG Terraform state. My bad. It's looking better, happier, healthier. We got 15 minutes left. I really want to get kubectl in. You know, I've been kind of jamming through application name. Oh God, what did I do? What did I do? It's got to be case sensitive. Newbie error, newbie mistake, newbie mistake. Jeez. And I changed the key, didn't I? Frack. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's make this happen. Did I break the lease? I think we're okay. Okay, good. So, oh my God, it wants to change everything. See, this is why. Did I not provision all this stuff already? Let me check GitHub. Maybe I just did a plan in GitHub. If I just did a plan in GitHub, like none of this crap is out there, right? So, oh yeah, I just did a plan. And if the plan is the same, I can just run this plan locally now. So we want to create a cluster and all the things and a node pool and some role assignments and all that jazz. So yeah, yeah, I think this is the same plan. So let's just roll. You know, let's roll this. So I've switched over to running locally. I can still use GitHub Actions, but I'm running it locally because I want to go grab a file. There's an important file that you need when you want to talk to an AKS cluster. It's a magical file that it's pretty important. So while this is rolling, I'm going to add an output for that file. There we go. And I might just like dump that to a local file so that I don't have to deal with it. So there's the local file provider. I hesitate like changing providers, you know, flippantly, but local file is what I'm after. I think I'm just going to dump the output to a local file, local sensitive file. Yeah, let's try this. I haven't really used local sensitive file, but that might be fun. So this is getting a little cluttered in here. So I just want to put the kube config into its own file. The content is going to be this raw output of the kube config. And so I just replace that. And then I call this kube config.yaml. And then I can modify this and I can just say copy kube config.yaml to ... I don't know, somewhere else. All right, I guess I could just leave it in this folder. Oh, it's pissed off. Like, what is this pissed off? Ephemeral disks. Deja vu. I think the SKU. I got the SKU wrong. I need to use this SKU. Oh my god. So we're gonna look at the plan. Probably the same plan. I don't know how much it can get done without having the thing. Yeah, this might take a little bit. Watching the paint dry. Is anybody still out there? Who do we have in chat here? Abdul's still here. Yeah, we're building our cluster, man. Let me while this is doing that, I'm gonna get some things ready. I need to put in place a Kubernetes deployment file that's gonna deploy this thing. So let me create a new folder. We'll call this Kates, and I'm just gonna create I guess web app.yaml. Yeah. And basically, there we go. We're going to save some time. I'm gonna save a little bit of time. So I've got a deployment here. I'm just calling it the whatever they call things. I need like a different, this is not the ACR that I'm using. So I need to change that. And this is not the version that I'm using. So I think that should be all good. I'm using a config map. The config map has a bunch of settings in here that point at different things that the application code needs. So the application code needs Azure AD, tenant and client. It needs, you know, a URL for the app config, which I haven't set that up. So I'll need to get a value for that. And then also which managed identity that we should be using. So I'll need to update that. So a lot of these things I'm gonna have to update. So let me clean this up. And we'll go get some of this stuff coded up. But, you know, basically got a service, got a deployment, gonna host on port 80. We're pointing at our image right here. Oh, crap. What happened here? I'm smashing into my quota. Are you freaking kidding me, man? Quota. Subs. Dev. Quota. Probably should have thought about this before I started the live stream. Like what I know what SKUs I'm going to use. That's freaking annoying, man. West US 3 DS. Am I using DSv3? What am I using? Yeah, I think DSv3. DSv3 is going to be it. So request adjustments. Okay, I'm probably going to need like 50. Let's do that for starters. I have another pool of FSv2, so I need to make a request for FSv2. Let's see, FSv2. And I need it to be in West Central US. Where the hell is that? No, not West Central, West US 3. Oh, they're still reviewing it. She wants to leave. Okay. Yeah, they're gonna look at it. West US 3. I don't know. How many do I need here? 20? Let's try 20. Okay. Man, if quota burns me, I'm gonna be in big trouble. Should I just set this to 1 and 1? Like, let's just do 1. And then I might be able to squeeze it in with just 1 min max. That's pretty dumb. Let's hope somebody's manning the quota desk today. That would be great. So let me go update the, I don't know, do I need to keep this open? I don't think so. I'm going to leave it open. I need to go to my ACR and grab the things. So there's my ACR endpoint. So I'll just throw that there. And then I think I got the version right. So the version is 10.3. Perfect. There we go. The tenant ID, I already know what that is. That's this guy. And then the client ID, I suppose I should create a client application registration for this app. So we'll just create it. We'll call this the live stream web app. There we go. And we'll give it an ID. And that's where it's going to go. And then I need to add application configure. We're still, oh, okay. Yeah, it does not like my max count and my min count being the same. So I'm gonna have to fix that. Let's just set that to 2. There we go. Got a little excited there. And I guess this would probably be okay. I mean, it's not going to work, but it'll be fine. Should probably output the managed ID for the kubectl. There we go. Because that'll probably be used in my YAML here. Oh, and I definitely need to add this YAML to the gitignore. Holy cow, man. It's like way down there. Basically anything called kubeconfig, let's just get rid of it. Close all but this, close others. There we go. Okay. So deployment, service, config map, replicas 3. I'm not going to be able to do that because I only have 1 node. That sucks. So we'll have just 1 replica and we'll give it a go whenever this is done. And let's check on our quota request. Successful. Ah, wunderbar. Let me check my other quota requests. Refresh. So beautiful. Like I can increase the node count now. Yes. 3 and 5. Let's say 2 and 3. 2 and 3. And then we can set the replica count to 2. Okay. And I need to clean up this stuff too, because I don't want this stuff getting checked in. Add to gitignore. Add to gitignore. Add to gitignore. So anything that's in Terraform, lock files, that stuff should all not go. Any debug.sh should not go. These things are fine. Yes, so I'm good with that. Perfect. Okay, so I can increase the node counts, so let's do that. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to see if I can get talking to my Kubernetes cluster here. So let me create a new terminal, and we'll just go to cd infra. All right, so I'm going to copy kube config.yaml to Kate's. That's not even where the path is. I actually need to go up kube config.yaml. I think that's it, right? Infra so I'll go into the Terraform folder, then I go into the infra folder. There we go. Okay, so now here I should be able to do probably should have had kubectl installed on this VM. What is, I mean, is this going to be good? No. Damn, I gotta get this installed. So I'm getting the ARM64 version here. Okay. Nice. Speed bump overcome. Let's see here. kubeconfig.yaml get pods. Okay. So I have to use like this kubeconfig path to explicitly, specify where it is. So here are my nodes. I got system pool, workload pool, like we're doing pretty good. So now I want to do, we're going to do apply-f, and we're going to go web app.yaml. Now, if I go back and do get pods, I see container creating, probably going to error. So I need to do logs and then give it a pod name, and we can see what the error is. There we go. So we got some issue here. So the invalid URL for the host name of the application ID. So I need to go provision an application, an app config. So there's like this, the application itself uses Azure App Config. So the app config service. So I need this. Let's go create one of these things. Where is this? Where is this? Okay. So in this config here, I'll just say app config.tf. I'll throw one of these in here. And that's going to be my guy. And then I need to grant Terraform access to this thing. So I'm going to throw a app configuration data owner on there so that Terraform can use that. I got to make sure that I even have the client config in there. Let me go back to this. Did I? Oh, I'm just let me know. I'm gonna know this. Now that I have this, I'm gonna make some updates here. So I'm updating the node count, and I'm adding an app config service. And then this is going to help me get the inputs that I need to configure the application properly. Because the app is, I borked it. Yes, /. Whoops. There we go. And I can go, it should be able to do the app config kind of in parallel, I would think. Let me go hit this thing. Resource groups, ls infra dev. Looks like we're just updating the node pools right now. The app config was in the plan, right? Yeah. Yeah, good. just went to 2 and 3. Hopefully I didn't ask for too much. I might run out of F8s, but that should only, I should only be getting 2, right? So I should have plenty of quota to get 2, right? So in my sub, quotas. Yeah, I'm kind of running out of those. Let me just increase this to 50. Getting too dangerously close there. It might not even let me set auto scaling because I don't have, yeah, I guess we'll leave that open. Because I don't have enough quota to even scale up to that money, you know? That would be interesting. So Abdul says nodes are not equal to pod. You're right. Nodes are the physical underlying infrastructure. Pods are just like the instances of containers that you provision that get distributed across the nodes and the node pools. I'm not sure what he's referencing, what Abdul referenced. I'm not sure what you're referencing there. Like, I would be able to do that unless you've configured the pods not to go to the same node. Provider calling the API. Oh, do I not have? I need to register this provider. Interesting. Microsoft app configuration. So where is that? So it looks like I need to enable this for my subscription. So if I go to my subscription, I think it's in resource providers. And I find this guy not registered. What? Register? Please. Let's do it. And probably gonna have to wait for that to register, and then I'm gonna have to run reapply. Registration should not take long. Still registering. What else am I not registered for here? Wow, there's lots of stuff, man. Chaos. I'm definitely going to need to register for that. Oh, Abdul, you're still here with me, man. That's awesome. And you're hanging in. It's got to be pretty late for you. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think registration's done. Finally, let's get this thing going. Then if I can get this app just to show up, you know, I'll feel good. We've gotten a lot of stuff done. Like, we built 2 Terraform workspaces, one that provisions Kubernetes shared infrastructure, i.e. an ACR. We set up GitHub Actions pipelines to provision our Terraform and to build our Docker image. And we published our Docker image to the ACR with a dynamic version attached. And now we have provisioned an AKS cluster, and we have used kubectl to provision. I gotta make sure I don't click the wrong thing here. And I can't check in the kubectl. When I installed kubectl, like on this live stream, I didn't do a very good job with VM prep today. You know, normally I just have all my tools like at the ready. So now we're setting up a app config, which is a dependency of this application. And once, I think the app config is already up, so I could just go grab the app config URL. This is it. So here's my app config thing, and I need the endpoint. And then I just need to put that in the config here. Got double HTTPS going on here. And then the managed identity, like what managed identity should I use? I guess it would be the kubectl or the kubelet ID, right? So this guy, I'm not, eventually I'll have to stitch this together. I don't like how I'm like hard coding this stuff in the YAML, but oh, whoops. I think this ought to do it. If I grab this guy's identity, you know, I can throw that in the YAML file, call her a day. Let me go back to my Kubernetes prompt here, and let's, I think, reapply, because that's like I've updated my config map. The service and deployment haven't changed at all. I just updated the config map. That should trigger a rollout to my pods. Crash loop back. I still got crash. I'm still crashing here, crashing hard. So let's check out the logs. My pod names are changed. Of course, the whole name didn't change. I probably could have just grabbed the random string at the end there. Paste. Let's go check this out. What? You're still pissed off with me about the host name. Invalid URL. Really? Thought I did that. Oh, jeez. I gotta make sure I use the kube config. Rollout, restart, and then the name of my deployment. Let's try that. Okay, this is better. That's weird that the apply didn't do the job, right? So now if I go to my Kubernetes cluster, where's my guy? Where's my guy? I should have a pip on this deployment here. So here's my friend. Let's see if this thing is responding. It says it's running. Oh, freaking A. We got errors still. Yeah, the whole pod name changed. Let me check this again. Oh, you know, it's probably my Azure Active Directory configuration. I probably need to, huh? Oh yeah, it's like, where's my log? Now it's still pissed off about the, oh, maybe it's like, I don't have access. I think it might be I don't have access. It's I know what the problem is. It's actually my .NET code is not configured properly. So if I go look at my .NET code and I go look at my web app, and then I go look at how this thing has been configured, holy crap, look at all this. So where would that be? Is it in program? Yeah, look at this. So we're using default credentials here, right? So this is no bueno. No bueno. When you use managed identity, like you should always specify what the managed identity that you're using is. So I'm going to go throw the .NET code in place. So I know what needs to be done here. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. So we'll just throw this right here. So that's my managed identity. And instead of using the default managed ID, default Azure credential, I'm going to throw that on there. So I'm going to grab, this is going to come from my config map, right? Which I should already have it. It should already be there. And then we're just using this credential like in lieu of the thing. So I'm going to have to update this and I'm going to have to push a new Docker image. Let me delete this because I should still have kubectl because I installed it. Yeah. So let me update the .NET code. Make sure I'm not committing any bad things. So update .NET to use managed ID. All right. And I'm gonna have to push a new Docker image, and it's gonna kind of suck. It's not gonna suck that bad. Like we just go back here. I got my GitHub action. I run the workflow. I hit the ACR that I want to hit. It's gonna pull the latest .NET code that is configured to use the managed ID instead of like the default Azure credential. And then I need to probably roll out a deployment, or no, I need to update to use the new version of the container image. Let's watch this thing cook. I need to increment the version. I'll do that while that's cooking. So it'll be in my YAML file for the, I don't like the infra there, but so we're no longer, always be specific. So it'll be probably 4, right? That'll be the update. And then once that image is pushed, which should be pretty soon, like we're cruising along here. Almost there. Abdul, you still hanging out with me? I got more nodes now. Look at all my nodes. Look at all the nodes. I have 2 nodes per node group. Node pool, whatever. It's wunderbar. Get pods. Crash back off. It's still that same thing. I need this image to be updated. Almost there. Come on, man. Let's go. Let's push that image. Is the image pushed? I don't know why this is taking so long. See, this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes GitHub Actions, like, I don't know if the WebSocket like disconnects, but like you can't see what's happening in here until something happens from like the bash output. So it's like you lose bash history. The console history is like not visible, and it only gets refreshed when something happens. So there we go. Did this thing fail? Like, why are we having a hard time getting Redis cache? It shouldn't fail. I think this is working. Okay, wonderful. And I should have a new image. Let's go look. Let's go look at the images in my ACR. It should be version 4. Version 4, wonderful. So now that I've updated that, I can, let me find the right thing. I can reapply. And I can then go get pods, and I can see the old ones getting destroyed and the new ones replacing them. And these, let's just watch. Oh no, we still have errors. Grumble. Logs. What is the error now? It's not happy. It's not happy about something. So get configuration settings. Okay, well, I mean, Azure App is working. Maybe I just need to add a role assignment for granting it access to the app config, right? So if I go look at that, let's see here. Do I grant it access? What am I looking for? App config. Yeah, I'm not, I need to grant it access. So here you go. So I'm going to grant the kubelet identity, managed identity, the app config data reader to my app config guy. And I need to reapply this. And then this should like remove, so those pods, like they're failing because, you know, they're trying to reach out and touch the app config service, but the app config service recognizes that they don't have the authorization to do that. And so they're saying, talk to the hand, right? So now I'm going to have to do a rollout because I'm not actually, this is an RBAC change on Azure. I'm not actually changing the pods. So I'm going to have to go back and do that rollout command once this is done. The rollout command basically forces an update of the pods to kind of restart things, which I'm going to need because the pods are still just kind of sitting there churning with cached credentials. So let's get this thing ready. And what I want to do is I want to go rollout, restart, deployment, Relay Cloud, web app. There we go. So that's ready to go. Okay, we've granted RBAC. Now let's do that. Let's go get pods. And we should see some pods. Still got an error though. So we're poking through here. Of course, that pod doesn't exist. Yeah. So new pods, hopefully a new error. Copies HTML, what the hell? Come on, man. I know you got something in the log for me. Maybe this is, I think this is the same error. Get configuration settings page async. Forbidden. Maybe it hasn't propagated. Yeah, it's the same error. Let's roll it out again. Still airing out. I know you have logs. I know it. Still airing out. Did I not update the correct identity? So the app config managed identity, that should be 0 Bravo 8. Let's check that. So, I mean, this path right here is being referenced in the .NET code. Where? Right here. App config, no. Oh, app config managed identity. So that is being used as the managed ID for this thing. So we need to make sure that that is correct in the config here. So if we go look at our environment here, we've got the kubelet. That should be the ID. Now, the only question is, should it be the object ID? So we can try it. I feel like it should be the application ID. I don't think it would be the object ID. But stranger things have happened. Yeah, it should be the client ID. It's the client ID. It's not the object ID. It's absolutely the client ID. So that's wrong. So let me push that back to the config there. And I mean, we should get new pods. Let's try a force restart here. I wonder if we have like a RBAC propagation error here. Like it's not propagating the RBAC. They're still airing out. I did apply that change to grant the access. My kubelet ID. No change. Kubelet ID 4 Delta 1. Hmm. Hmm. Should have access. It's really weird. I see sometimes it's running, sometimes crash back off, you know? Maybe the logs are let's see here. Oh, what the hell was that? Yeah, we're still getting forbidden. So client, request ID. Line 12 in the program. Let's go see what's happening on line 12. I honestly had no idea why this is happening. Line 12. Of course, I disabled line numbers, right? Maybe it's the key vault. Key vault is not there. But I don't know if I need key vault yet. You know? App config data reader. Yeah, it's really strange. Like, I have granted the kubelet ID access to the app config. It's a mystery. It's an absolute mystery. Let me slam some settings in here. Might as well. app insights while we're waiting. Oh, I'm gonna need log analytics too. Yep. And let's just let it think about what it's done. Dude, are we talking RBAC propagation? is this really happening? RBAC propagation? I mean, we have 2 healthy pods running. For real? You're killing me, man. I'm sitting here like, what? Why you mad? Why you mad at me? And like, there it is. There it is, folks. That's our little web app running healthily. I just needed, like, the RBAC had to propagate, and I was impatient. And now I'm adding a bunch of stuff to add app insights and things. But yeah, that was fun. RBAC propagation errors. Their thing. It's an async thing. It takes a while for it to percolate to all the necessary systems. So you just got to watch out for that. But anyways, that I think that's pretty much what I want to accomplish. Like we got a lot of stuff done. We set up an ACR. We set up an AKS cluster. We built a Docker image for some .NET code. We pushed it to our ACR. We used we installed kubectl, and we pushed a Kubernetes service and deployment with our Docker image and a config map that has, the various settings that we need to configure the service that's been deployed, the code, the .NET code that's deployed there. We added Azure App Config Service and configured managed identity within the code so that the Azure Config Service in the C# configuration would pick up the correct managed ID that we attach to the kubelets using our AKS configuration. And yeah, our app, after a little bit of trouble with the RBAC propagation, to grant our .NET application the managed identity for our .NET application to access the application config and not get talk to the hand 403 response from the Azure App Config Service. Our app is up and running. I'm sure not everything is working because the REST API in the back end isn't up and running, and I like the Azure Active Directory I haven't fully configured, but we got the Docker image built. We got the Kubernetes set up. All we have to do is do the same thing for the web API and fix a bunch of the configuration settings and provision Redis, provision SQLDB. And that's it. We'll be able to get this app up and running. So it took me about 2.5 hours, 3 hours, I guess. We're probably pushing 3 hours right now to get this up and running. I hope you enjoyed it. I know not everybody stuck around to the end, but this will be recorded and pushed out to my YouTube channel and my Twitch, and I think it's being live streamed to Twitter as well, and LinkedIn. So you can go check this out. We did finally, get to the goal line. Just took a little bit longer, ran into some issues, and you got to see me troubleshoot some of that stuff. So hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to be logging off, gonna go get some lunch and get a little bit more red tea, fill up my tea. Until next time, this is the Azure Terraformer, signing off.